What happened in this instance was, as I understand it, on the Friday before the inaugural parade, which, if I'm doing the math right, I think would be the 29th, in the afternoon, after information had already been filtered through the CTIC and other sources, one of the detectives who was responsible for putting together the assessment went onto a blog and found that the gentleman in question had made an entry on the blog which, and I don't have it in front of me, so please don't hold me to the precise words, but essentially said, who's going to join me in protesting the inaugural or the inaugural ball, something to that effect. That caught his attention. I believe it was on Tuesday, because this was later in the day on Friday, I believe it was on Tuesday that a criminal check was run on the person who had made that entry on the blog, and it was determined that he previously had been arrested and convicted in Groton, Connecticut, of an unlawful protest. The intelligence unit put together a two-page document, the first page being 2 photographs, I believe from the Motor Vehicle Department, with biographical information and physical description. The second page essentially saying that the gentleman had been the chairman, I believe it was, of the Green Party, had posted a notice on his blog, who's going to protest the inaugural with me, gave a description of his car, and stated that he had the prior arrest in Groton for unlawful protest. That's the sum total of the information that was provided, along with information about other persons, including photographs and similar type information about those people.
I understand, I believe, from what I've read in the newspaper, that Mr. Krayeske has a regular blog, I believe, as do a lot of people. How many people are researching all the blogs?
Well, I don't know exactly how the research is done. Again, we don't routinely spend our time sorting through blogs. As you recall from our previous discussion, we have resource issues. However, when we are responsible for an event, we take that very seriously, and obviously in this instance, one of the detectives felt that it was appropriate for him to search blog entries to see if anyone had publicly said anything that raised any concern about an intent to disrupt the event or harm someone.
How often has the state police or Hartford PD over the past year locked somebody up for a simple breach of peace and then set a bond for $75,000, where a lot of them are just, I'm not being an attorney, but talking to attorneys, are just a summons to appear. So, I mean, that had concerns from other elected officials, so I just throw that out there to maybe get your opinion on that. Or, you know, I know that I think he's supposed to be in court on the 30th, so maybe you can't speak about that, but that is a concern of other elected officials that are on this committee or on other committees.
And I don't think it would be appropriate to speak about the circumstances of the arrest or what the officer had in mind, but at this point I have to turn to my friend Chief Roberts, because the arrest was made by the Hartford Police Department, and he was in the custody of the Hartford PD, and I think Chief Roberts is the one to speak to that issue.
The reason his bond was set at that particular price was based on his actions and totality of the circumstances that occurred. Everything that occurred, that happened, was at this gentleman's own action. He was arrested not because of what we did, because of what he did. He breached the parade route, approached the governor in what we deem an aggressive manner. He was then stopped and detained, and at that time he became somewhat evasive when being questioned, and he interfered with the police. And this is an example of the system working. This is an example of what shared intelligence can do when we conduct ourselves properly. I must say that the Hartford Police Department and the State Police Department conduct themselves in what I deem as an exemplary fashion, because unfortunately an individual was arrested, but no one got hurt. And we were proactive, and this is a classic example of the intelligence working.
Chief, do you think that $75,000 bond was excessive in this situation? Yeah, you explained basically that based upon his evasiveness or refusal to really cooperate 100%, and that's why that bond was put at $75,000. But asking you directly, do you think that was excessive?
No, sir, I don't think it was excessive based on his criminal history, based on the fact that he was evasive and the totality of the circumstances. He was the only individual that I can with a moral certainty say, breach the parade route. Like every other citizen, he has a right to be at the parade, he has a right to take pictures, but what gives him the right to breach the parade route and approach the governor? No one has that right in that particular venue.
I am concerned and would like everyone here to walk away with the fact that we need to strike a reasonable balance here, and someone's public protest should not be considered a threat absent any other criminal activity, current or presumed. And I don't think this rises to that level. I think a mistake was made here. I think it may have been an honest one, but I think a mistake was made.
I can't help but sit here and think that if this incident occurred the January after 9/11, I think all of us on this committee would be patting you all on the back. And I'm hoping that this doesn't dissuade you from protecting us and from doing your job. I'm hoping that you're not afraid now to go out there and protect us, all us citizens, because you know, we have to go through these things at times.